Hello, everyone. So it has been incredibly hot here in Paris. And newsflash, the French are not into air conditioning or fans. So I'm going to show you this is my solution. This is my solution to the summers here in Paris because I learned the hard way and by the hard way, I just mean I suffered thinking that going to a cafe or a restaurant would be some reprieve, they would have air conditioning or fans. They do not. In fact, the French have this weird belief that you will get sick if you have a fan on you, or you will get sick if you have the air conditioning on all night. It doesn't make any sense. But you know what? I'm one person, and I'm not going to change the French culture just yet. However, I want to share a couple of things. I just came back. You like how I did that? I just came back, sorta. I just came back from being on the farm, the alpaca farm, doing a workaway. I was there for 8 days. I want to show you who I was with. This is Chai. This is the beautiful alpaca. So it was an alpaca farm. They had 11 alpacas, 4 llamas, 2 dogs, 4 goats, 1 pony, and 1 cat. Yes. So it was just swimming with amazing animals and the introduction of, are you ready for it? Wait. Let me find it. Baby Frank. The new addition. This is a baby alpaca. This is only 2 weeks old. 2 weeks old. The cutest little thing. Excuse me. Wow. So absolutely loved it. And let me just show you Jim. Oh wait, here's another one. Would you just look at their eyes? I mean, just the cutest. This is my love. This is Jim. Look at Jim. Oh, sweetest. Now, you really can't help when you're around that many animals to kind of really, it just allows me to drop into my heart because it's just so calming, like there's something about, so maybe the next question you would ask is like, what do I do? What did I do at this farm, right? I'm going to shut it off. Okay. I did all kinds of things, I had been to this farm before. They don't really call it a farm. They call it a small holding because they don't produce anything that they sell. I think technically if you're a farm, you have to be selling or producing like milk or eggs or whatever it is, right? So they're a small holding. And this was in Normandy. I need the fan actually, so sorry. And so I did everything from helping feed the animals, picking up the poo. There was so much poo. So much poo to pick up. Now I understand that whole saying, I'm pooped, because picking up poo, it literally, you are so tired because there's just so much poo from so many animals. But here's what's interesting. So as I was saying before, I went to this particular small holding farm in Normandy in the winter time. So I wanted to, and I really love the host family. It's this British couple, and they're amazing. And so what a workaway is basically you work for anywhere from 1 hour to 5 hours, maximum 5 hours per day, and then in exchange for room and board. So food, all the meals are included, and obviously I get to stay there, right? What I loved before was just how it felt like I was part of this family. And so and I'm not somebody that, I've never really done physical labor before, aside from, I don't know, walking around, and so my desire was I wanted to know what it was like to work on a farm, to be surrounded by all these animals, wanted to see more of France, so there were so many benefits. And so when I went in the winter, I wanted to experience what it was like to come in the summer when the weather would be a lot nicer. I wanted to see what the differences would be. So anyways, I had this break, I go, and one of the most beautiful things that happened was, I've been learning so much around like revisiting patterns, right? And it was interesting how even if it was just February, March, April, May, June, so like 4 months ago, I mean, so much has changed and in 4 months for me personally. So when I went, it was interesting how the things that I did not enjoy doing in the winter time, like picking up poo, because it was so muddy and so wet, it was like really hard to get all of it, because alpaca poo is actually very, very small, like little pellets, you know? So it was just like you're trying to get it and it's like cold and, you know, whatever. Now, when I'm in the summer and I remember like it was so relaxing, actually. It was so satisfying, to be honest, because sometimes I wouldn't have anything, but sometimes I would play a podcast or I would have music on or something in the background, and I can just in the periphery like see the animals grazing, eating the grass, and just walking around as I'm, you know, scooping up the poo and putting it in the big wagon. And there was something so peaceful and serene. And I was like, oh, it's so interesting how differently I feel about this one task now that it's summer, now that the weather's beautiful, you know? And so I found myself really enjoying it. And again, just this feeling of satisfaction, right? And then some other things that I did was I really helped her, because she actually has a business where you can go and you can feed the alpacas. You can, and she'll give you tea and cake, and you can do a llama walk, and you can do a craft if you want. So she has this whole business that she started the past few years. And so I was helping with all the computer, like website stuff, also printing out tons of stuff that she's posting around, like, you know, introducing the alpacas and their names and and I'm giving her just advice of just somebody that has their own business and all these kinds of things, right? So there was that. And also I realized I have a lot of skills. I got skills. And so it was very satisfying to utilize all these different skills, right? And then, you know, we were transitioning from, you know, opening the business. So she had all of this like furniture she wanted to put out. So then we started to paint the furniture. There was another helper there with me. And that was also really satisfying. And so I'm just learning all these different things. At the same time, by the end of the day, when we all have dinner together, it's really, really nice to just have this just shared experience and, you know, lots of laughter. And yeah, so it was a really, really beautiful experience. There was a couple of times where, especially in the beginning, I heard the ego voice say something like, you know, oh, you know, this is a lot of work and you're not getting paid and blah, 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 you know? It's mostly, that's like my family, really my father and my sister, maybe, that voice. But I have to own it. It's obviously something that I adopted as well. But then I just was like, stop. Like, this is about the experience, the exchange. There's something about, and this is like the whole journey, learning that it's so much more than money. Like, money is just one exchange, right? It's like exchange of service, exchange of, you know, I'm doing this for you in exchange for this. And this idea of bartering, right? I don't know if I've mentioned this. Maybe I did, that there's so many different ways that abundance comes through, and one of which is to barter and trade, right? Versus just exchange for money. So anyways, I just kind of saw or heard that voice and I was like, relax, you know? And then I was able to really drop in, and yeah, it was so beautiful. I had a lot of moments of like saying to myself, like, don't try to escape this, you know? Like, yes, it's a lot of work, but enjoy it. Like, this is your choice. This is, you know, it's like so many of us, and myself really included in the past, used to try to race through things that I thought were beneath me, you know? Like, why do I have to teach this class, you know, that's all the way far away from where I need to be, and I'm only getting paid this amount, you know? And so like the ego gets involved and you get really resentful, right? And instead, everything now is about really appreciating, how can I see this from the perspective of I'm using my whole being to be here and to do this work. So enjoy it. Like, once you start to really accept that, and also in order to accept it, there's a part of me that knows it's all temporary. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing where I think in the past, the reason I had so much angst or frustration around doing maybe what I would consider, beneath me work, right? Again, it's just a judgment. It's because I was frustrated. I didn't know if it would ever end. I thought maybe that was going to be my lot in life, And so this whole journey about understanding, well, no, like abundance and wealth is easy. It's comes naturally to me. All of my needs are met. And this particular job, which I'm completely and open, like aware and open and present to, and I'm giving my full self to, like, it's not going to be every single day. You know what I mean? So enjoy it. So that helps. When you know there's an ending, when you know it's just temporary, which really everything is just temporary, you can really surrender to it and really deepen into it, which is why I think I enjoyed it a lot more this time around, not to mention it was summer and the weather was really just beautiful. And then it got really, really hot, and then I got frustrated because sometimes I think, listen, what will I say? I will say that one of the things I learned and something that I'm really focused on right now is this whole program around being the good girl, right? And being nice, how I'm really just trying to let that go because it's not really serving anyone. If I'm going to offer to help just because I feel guilty or because I think I should or because, that would be the nice thing to do, then I'm going into it with the energy of already resenting this task. I'm already resenting the person and the task because guess what? I'm not being truthful. I'm not being truthful to what I really want to do. And that is a huge program that I'm overcoming, because I recognize that I loved the host mother, but she doesn't stop working. And while that's fine for her, it was really hard for me to watch somebody constantly work and not feel like I had to also contribute and I also had to help. And then I realized by doing that, by pleasing her or what I think, again, it's just a program, what I think she would want or to be nice or whatever it is, I'm coming around feeling like resentful. Like, why did I do that? I'm tired. I don't want to do any more work and, all that kind of stuff, right? And it's just something that I think as women in particular, we've been conditioned to do, is to please. And we get a lot of praise for that. We get a lot of love for that. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for doing that for me. You overextend yourself to the point where you forget or even don't even recognize when is it really, were you doing it for you or were you doing it just to get that praise, And so as I start to unravel all of these different programs, that one showed up towards the end of this visit. So it was good for me because it's about accepting when I've hit my limit and creating that boundary and going, okay, I'm not going to be helpful if I'm just doing this to please someone she doesn't even care. It's just, it was my thing. I felt like I had to. You know what I'm saying? So comment below if you understand what I'm saying. Okay. The next little thing I want to share is I've been watching this super, oh my God, we're at 15 minutes already. I've been watching this incredible podcast. So I'm really now into watching everything on YouTube versus listening to podcasts just by audio because I don't know, there's something about getting the whole visual in addition to, I really enjoy it. So I've been listening to Amy Poehler's Good Hang. I don't know if you've been watching that. And I have been loving it because it's really light. She is super authentic. The conversations that they have, they just let it roll. It feels like they don't do any editing. It's so funny. Like I've laughed so hard. So I thought it would be really fun to just share a couple of little fun things that I have been laughing at myself And I'm looking at my little notes because I wanted to say, okay, these are some like fun little things that make me laugh now that I did back in the day. And here goes. Ready? And maybe you won't even think it's funny, but in my head, I think it's funny. Okay. So one of my first jobs, and maybe you can comment below and tell me what your first job. One of my first jobs out of college, okay? So I've been working jobs since I was like 15 and a half. And I always wanted to work as a kid because I wanted to start making money, because I wanted to do my own thing and be independent, right? But anyways, my first job out of college, I worked for Barry Manilow's manager. And I don't know if you know who Barry Manilow is. But if you're my age or around my age, I think you know who I'm talking about. You can go Google search him. So he was kind of a big deal when I was growing up. My mom loved him. A lot of moms loved him, especially in their 70s. He wrote songs like I Write the Songs That Make the Whole World Sing. He wrote, I guess his biggest hit was, maybe it was Copacabana or Mandy or anything like that. Anyways, so I worked for his manager, but I was the second assistant. So I was assisting his manager's assistant, okay? Now this is my first like real job out of college. So it's not like anybody pulled me aside and told me how to answer the phones. I mean, they told me answer the phone, blah, 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 entertainment, right? But other than that, I just kind of had to wing it. So I did all kinds of stuff like, organize his CD collection, alphabetize this, clean, open up his mail, get it open and ready with paper clips and stuff and put it on his desk. And then eventually I got to a place where I can start to answer his phones. So I would answer his phones, thank you for calling, whatever it was called at the time. And somebody would say, yes, can I speak to said person? And I was like, hold on, let me get him for you, or let me check, right? So I put him on hold, and I would go and I looked, and then I noticed that he was in the bathroom. So I got back on the phone and I said, I'm so sorry, he's in the bathroom right now, but I can have him call you later. I don't know why that makes me laugh, because I'm just thinking this could be like an agent or like, the head of whatever CEO. Can you imagine being told specifically where that he's in the bathroom right now? Like, it was just, I had no idea that I was supposed to just say he's unavailable. I thought I had to be specific as to where he was. So I said, yeah, he's taking a number 2. I mean, I don't know. So that just made me laugh. So in the comments below, tell me something that you did at one of your first jobs that you look back and you're like, what was I thinking? I think what happened was when, I think it was John was his name. At the time I told him, I said, or maybe it got back around. Oh, that's what it was. That particular person said, she told me he was in the bathroom. And so then I kind of got scolded, like, you don't tell people that he's in the bathroom. Anyways, voila, there you go. Happy, happy, joy, joy. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.